Okay, it is 1 o'clock and we are going to get started. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us here on a lovely afternoon. And this is the first of a series of 8, right, Heather? We're going to do 8 in the series, 2-hour sessions each, all at the same time, 1 to 3. We're going to go through quite a bit of information today and for the remaining of the sessions, because the Sustainable Jersey for Schools certification is quite extensive, as everyone knows by now. So let me just bring up the presentation and we're going to get started. But for those of you who are on the call right now, if you could just put your name, your title, and where you are from in the chat, so just everybody knows where everybody else is from.
Oh no.
That's not the one.
Lost it.
All right, that's what I want. Just so everybody knows that the ELF, the Education Leadership Foundation New Jersey, sponsors these. They have been for the last several years since we've been doing these. So we want to thank ELF NJ for getting behind this. And of course, since it's virtual, we can't have lunch. We usually have lunch during these sessions, and they're a full day. It's a long day, but they're usually very, very informative. So again, I want to welcome everybody. Those of you who just clicked on, I'm John Henry, New Jersey School Boards Association. I'm their STEAM and Sustainable School Specialist. So Heather, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Heather Mccall. I'm the Program Director for Sustainable Jersey for Schools. I recognize some of you, or if not you personally, the work of your schools. So I may be calling upon you to brag a little bit. Thank you for joining us today.
Great, Heather. And Jennifer, if you could introduce yourself as well.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Seal. I'm the iSTEAM and Sustainable Schools coordinator and STEAM Tank coordinator.
Yeah, Jennifer, handles most, if not all, of the work that I do, and all of the programs that we do. So she's kind of the backbone behind the scenes, but we get her involved as much as we can in front of the camera. So thank you, Jennifer, for being here today. I appreciate it. When we do our Facebook Live, she's monitoring the chat and she's behind the scenes. So it's really super helpful.
I'm the coordinator, but the Steam Tank, as I say, the Steam Tank is my jam.
Steam Tank is your jam. Yeah, you got it going on with Steam Tanks.
Thanks, John.
So, just a couple of ground rules here. If you are, when you're not speaking, please make sure that you keep your audio on mute, unless you have, something to share, and or Heather calls on you, as you just mentioned. Just keep your microphone muted if you could. It's really be helpful. This session is being recorded and will be made available at a future date. If you need it, if you want to see the recording, or if you want to share the recording with some of your other school colleagues, please just make sure you just email me or Jennifer, and we will get you the recording.
Yes, we definitely, the email is important, John, because we would, if you're a board member, we'd like to track who's viewing the video, so they are able to obtain their Sustainable Jersey for School points, as well as their board member points as well.
Also the Green Leader.
The Green Leader credits, and if you are a facilities manager, the CEFM credits.
Right. So thank you for that. The slide
and if you're looking to get
available.
And if you're looking to get points towards your professional development for sustainability action in your Sustainable Jersey certification, this counts. So
it does count.
Want to mention it. Yep.
We will take questions throughout the presentation. Just pop them in the chat. If you have a burning question and you want to raise your hand or just wave your hand or something to get our attention, we will take questions throughout. And again, if you haven't done this now or by now, just put your name, affiliation, and title in the chat. All right, so let's just get into, what the session's about. All right, so we know that we're going to cover, most of the actions, if not all of the actions, through this next 8 sessions, including the new digital digital schools. But just wanted to start out with a couple of definitions just for clarity purpose. I always think this is a good place to start in just really defining what green is, or it's anything environmentally friendly, and what sustainability is based on the simple principle that everything we need for our survival, well-being depends either directly or indirectly on our natural environment. So there's good reasons for us to teach our children and to actually have green schools be part of this process of keeping our environmental safe, because our survival pretty much depends on it. So that's just a real basic definition of green. And then green school, and this, I love this definition from the Center for Green Schools from the U.S. Green Building Council, because it talks about a school that creates a healthy environment that is conducive to learning while saving energy, resources, and money. So if you're a board member in particular, but if you're just concerned about your school, and there's good reasons to be a sustainable or a green school. This is also from the Center for Green School, and it's called the Whole School Sustainability Framework, which if you put right in the very middle, it's sustainable, or sustainability. But in order to achieve sustainability, obviously, if you follow the Sustainable Jersey for Schools or Eco Schools or some other frameworks, you will attain that, achieve that. But look at this just for a second. So there's three major components in a whole school sustainability framework. The physical place, obviously, where we go and teach, learn, work, and play every single day, but also the educational programs. And then in addition to the organizational culture, okay, which is like more of the organizational policies, vision, mission, catalytic communication from the board and all the other members of the staff. But you can't have one or do one and place all your emphasis on the physical plant and ignore the education. And that's a student power right here. What we have seen in the past is that when the students, for example, get behind the education for sustainability, it becomes really powerful for the school to actually move forward. But you can't do it without the board member decisions, the policies, the strategic plans. So really, if you look at this, and if you're going to be serious about this, you could do it in this whole school framework, and don't ignore any one of these parts. In Sustainable Jersey for Schools, you do people, planet, prosperity, and those are, again, the three prongs that they're following as well. Same thing. Can't have one without the other. So just a quick review of school board's commitment to sustainability. We came into sustainability and started doing it and training board members back in 2011, 2012, where I was brought on to develop programs for board members. And now, of course, it expanded to all school members and also students. So we do this. We're trying to advance student achievement by enabling New Jersey schools to provide safe and healthy learning environments. We all want that. And of course, this is one of our goals. These are our sustainability goals for the association. And of course, we want lower operating costs, so we can direct those resources back to classroom operations and other operations of the school that would benefit the school overall. We do this through training, professional development, research, and information sharing. This counts as one of the training professional development, where we're sharing information and best practices, and Heather will talk about some schools and best practices later on. We support and are partnered with Sustainable Jersey for Schools and have been for quite some time now. We also support schools through our sustainability services, our policies, district goal setting, strategic planning, and I'm going to go into that a little bit more in detail in a second. And for those of you who are board members, and if you're not aware of this, we do offer a Green Leader board member certification. So like, for example, if you're taking this today, this is 2 credits towards your Green Leader. Same thing applies when we do our iSTEAM presentations or any workshops that we run. We also have an iSTEAM leader as well. We actually developed this about 3 or 4 years ago. It's been in existence. This is a really important one. Obviously, we are talking about policy from school boards, and our field service representatives will support all districts. And they're pretty much the folks who are field service representatives are the ones who are really the boots on the ground. They work directly with your school administration, board members to develop policies and strategic planning and other actions that we'll actually look at from the government or the governance models. They are your point of contact. Usually you have Jesse Owens come on. He will be appearing later on in the series when we talk about leadership. But I just wanted to let everybody know that this exists. And if you're not a board member and you do not know about your field service representatives, it would be really nice to reach out and work with your board members to actually, call in a person who's a field service representative to actually develop strategic plans and policies and et cetera. This is just what our field service webpage looks like. They do online evaluations, and they do actually quite a bit. They really help schools with goal setting, which is really nice because when you're talking about goal setting, a board, for example, will set a goal, and it could be a green goal, for example. And so the green goal is then carried out by the rest of the district and evaluated and assessed by the Board of Ed. Strategic planning, same thing. Have these folks are very skilled in what they do, and they could really help when it comes to strategic planning when you have sustainability in mind. We do have a sustainability discretionary policy. If you have not seen that, I will be glad to email you a copy of this. This is just a snapshot of like an 8-page document, which is a very comprehensive policy, which covers energy, waste management. This particular one is the newest and latest version, which it also has gardens as well. We put this in there, and we revise these, I wouldn't say frequently, but we do revise these when new and other exciting things come into play, such as climate change, for example. For those of you who are not aware of it, June 3rd, Tammy Murphy and working with Department of Education, climate change standards are now in the standards in 7 categories. And so we're going to revise this policy to reflect climate change as well, now that it has been adopted by the state. We also offer sustainability consulting, where I will go in along with other subject matter experts to the school, and we will take a look at your whole school sustainability plan. We'll assess what you have, what you need. We'll help with Sustainable Jersey for Schools and other certifications that you may be thinking about doing. And as recently, we just kicked off yesterday, and a few of you were on the presentation yesterday, where we started our Are You iSTEAM Ready series, and we're going to have four presentations. Yesterday was the first one, and this time what we did is we changed this to design challenges for a sustainable future. And the reason why we did this is because design challenges are getting the kids into action, whether designing, building, inventing, creating, that hands-on learning, that career-ready preparation. So, with Rutgers University, it's nice, and also the U.S. Army, because now we have not just our team, but our teams have come together to support schools and to bring more resources through the RU iSTEAM Ready and beyond. And if you are not familiar with Steam Tank, the reason why that we are supporting schools with Steam Tank is because this is a student design competition. It's a very entrepreneurial design competition. It has a sustainability component in it. Last year, I'll give you an example of how many schools that we had register. They would put in applications. We had about 660 schools, teams put in application. We have a lot of schools that are doing it. This year, we're tentatively going to launch next week, actually, November 9th, with the first ever virtual Steam Tank. But the students in here, it's just amazing what they can do with Steam Tank. And they cannot be in the competition unless they either design, build, create, invent something that's sustainable. So this is also, and Heather, if I'm not mistaken, if a team enters this and they do this, right, in Steam Tank, will they get points for their school, correct? Okay.
Yes, we currently acknowledge that under the Innovative Projects action, and depending on how you prep for it, how you integrate it into your iSTEAM policies or into a particular lesson plan, you can also get points there.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. I thought that was the way it played out, but I'd rather hear it from you. Thank you. Yeah, and speaking of innovation, the kids are very innovative. The ones that we've seen, hundreds and hundreds of presentations so far with Steam Tank. So if you're not aware of it, Steam Tank exists, and get a team together and put in. That'd be great. And this is just the web page for the Steam Tank Challenge, and you can go on YouTube and just type in NJSBA Steam Tank Challenge, and you'll come up with a lot of videos as well. So one of the things that we had to do is transition from a live regional events with Steam Tank to a Steam Tank at Home challenge. And if you're not familiar with this, this particular site has a bunch of different design challenges that you can click on any one of these links. And that's the email or the link down here. But if you want more information, please email me or Jennifer on this. And the nice thing about this is these were designed to be done at home. We've done one with the Liberty Science Center. We've done some with Rutgers University. I've created a few on this that actually, with notes to planet Earth, and sustainability starts at home. And there's a lot of different variety of design challenges that you can do. And it's designed to be done with family members and parents as well. We did one with the NJPTA as well. And there's just a kind of a quick snapshot of what to expect when you visit this website. And of course, we support sustainability at our workshop this year. Of course, you're probably familiar with that. We had to go virtual. We did have our virtual iSteam and Green Command Center booth that we represented at, and we had a lot of documents there that we shared. But when it was in Atlantic City, we had over a 10,000 square foot area called the iSteam Green Command Center, where we had a lot of innovative educators, as we call them, displaying a bunch of stuff that they're doing. And that was where Steam Tank was held. It was, I think it was, a very exciting area on the workshop floor where, any school member can come in and just get a lot of information and resources for the experts that we usually have there. So hopefully next year we will be back in Atlantic City, but that is still to be determined. And then if you're not familiar with ACES and ACES Plus, it's the competitive services that, one of the companies that we work with, Gable Associates, manages for us. ACES is the competitive services and purchasing of fossil fuel. But then what we did about 3 or 4 years ago is we transitioned into ACES Plus. And ACES Plus is all about beyond the fossil fuel. It's about conservation and renewable energy sources. So if you are not familiar with that, go to this website, click on the website and check it out. It's got some really good information, and they represent us, school boards associations. So you're not going to get, some company that's just in it for them. They're going to be backed, they're going to represent us. So
and John,
source, by the way.
And John, I'll just add that we're going to go a little bit more in depth about the ACES program and the energy savings things that your district can do in the framework of Sustainable Jersey for Schools, as well as via this free assistance and support and fabulous tools through the ACES and ACES Plus program. We're going to do that in session 3, and I believe that's December 7th or 8th. We're kind of glossing over the fabulousness of this right now, but be prepared to learn a little bit more on session 3.
Yeah, we kind of have to gloss over the fabulousness of it now because of time. But yes, this is a great program, and keep your eye on this. If not, some of your schools may have already been involved in this, but the ACES Plus is what I'm really excited about because they can help you with your alternative energy and also with your energy conservation. And of course, you could get points for it as well if you talk to some of their experts. Andrew Conti is usually the one that does this presentation and talks about it in great detail, and he is really good at what he does. So, if you needed his contact, we can provide that as well. And of course, we always feature the eco schools and the green ribbon schools, and because it is, and Heather usually talks about this, and she may go into this a little bit more in detail, but some of their actions that they have really kind of, it's not like you have to do one or the other. A lot of them kind of will support each other. So you don't have to stress about, which one do I do? Because if you're doing something in eco schools, you'll probably get points for Sustainable Jersey or vice versa. So, or Sustainable Jersey for Schools, that is, I'm sorry. So, but this is also a really great program as well. It is a free program for schools. They will help you. This is more about the teaching and learning or in the classroom. Versus like Sustainable Jersey is about a comprehensive approach. But it's definitely, if you're not familiar with this, it's definitely worth checking out as well. Allison Mulch is usually the one that comes on and usually talks about this. She's the representative and the manager of that program. So this is our contact information. I'm going to hand the ball off to Heather, and we're going to jump right into the actions. But I appreciate you bearing with me for a few minutes just to give us an overview of what New Jersey School Boards Association does to support sustainability. We do other things as well. We'll customize, the programs for you. We'll get on WebExes if you have some questions and talk about what's going on. And especially now, it's easy to do because we're all virtual. So I'm available by WebEx almost anytime. So Heather, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to hand the ball off to you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, John. And I appreciate John giving that overview because we are so lucky in New Jersey that we have such a robust system, school boards association. I know many of you are part of your county association and the leadership structure there. So they do so much. I don't know of any other school board groups statewide that really have embraced sustainability the way that they have, that really have provided the level of support and cooperative purchasing opportunities, that they offer. So sometimes it's under the radar, and I encourage John to just brag a little bit for us today and make sure that you know that these things are available and these things are happening because of your dues and your activism and your support in your school boards association. So just wanted to make sure you guys were fully aware of the many hats that John wears and all the support that's available for you.
Heather, I really appreciate that. Yes, I tend not to brag about this stuff that we do at school boards and this, but we get out there as much as we can. But yeah, you're right. We are the only school boards association in the nation that we're aware of that is doing the support in STEAM and also sustainability in a big way that we're aware of. I don't know of any other state that's doing it like we are. And we are ahead of the game in terms of New Jersey. We're way ahead of that when it comes to sustainable schools.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're number 2 in the nation for solar installations in schools, and we're right behind California. And we're pretty high up there with the number of school gardens we have. I'd like to collect some more data on that. So as John mentioned, we normally do this as an all-day crash fest of, going over every single category and every single action in the Sustainable Jersey for Schools program in person. And because of, the COVID-19, we're doing this remotely, and we are breaking it up into various categories that would apply to different personnel in your school. So if you're attending all of them, that's awesome. You're going to be well versed in all of the actions, and you'll be able to be a great resource for your school. You'll also rack up all of those continuing ed credits and credits towards things that John discussed. So today's session, we're going to just kind of do an overview of the basics of engaging in sustainable practices and the nuts and bolts in applying those principles to your school. And the next session that we're doing in 2 weeks will focus on the district's role in moving that forward. So in 2 weeks, we're going to talk more specifically about strategic planning, about the 11 different policies you can enact with your school board, about the different procedures. I'm glad to see so many school board members on today, and I hope that you will be with us again in 2 weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. One of the things that I want you to be aware of, because the timeline is coming up, Sustainable Jersey gives out a substantial amount of grants to participating schools and districts. And, it's been a chaotic fall. It's been a chaotic year, and a lot of folks don't really have this on the radar, but I want to bring it to your attention that we do still have our grant opportunity open right now through December 4th for grants. And we give out 10 $10,000 grants and 40 $2,000 grants. So we have 50 grants to give out. And sometimes, we'll get 52 applications. Sometimes, we have Al is on here from Howell. I think every school in Howell has gotten a grant 2-3 times over through this program. So I really encourage you to put in an application, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit, but want you to be aware that that's available for you. The other thing is the Digital Schools program. Many of you are familiar with the Future Ready Schools program that's been around for a couple years. That has been discontinued and rebranded and subsumed under the Sustainable Jersey program. So come January 2021, that will be integrated into our certification program. And you'll be getting credit for your future ready type activities under the banner of Sustainable Jersey. And here are just a few examples of some of the school districts that have really embraced the former Future Ready program. Howell is there, and the Sustainable Jersey program. So it really can work together, and you can utilize some of those folks that were active in Future Ready and bring them into your Sustainable Jersey Green team to work together. Right now, there is a document on our website, pre-launch of digital schools. It's the Remote Digital Learning Roadmap, and that's available right now. It's a report that we did in conjunction with the Department of Education. It's got some tools and guidance from the task force members of the former Future Ready program. That's a great resource right now if you're looking for some guidance related to that. And if you are interested in learning more about the configuration of this new recognition within the Sustainable Jersey certification, you can attend a webinar and register for that on our website. It's happening on December 15th from 10 to 11 a.m. And we'll go into specifics about the qualifications for achieving that recognition. And then, of course, if you're here, then you must know about our other upcoming sustainable practices working sessions. So if you have other board members or your BA or your facilities director or your nurse or educators that are in your district and you want to tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, why don't you come along and sign up for this so that you can learn a little bit more to move sustainable practices forward in your district. Put those on your calendar. So we're going to go into the certification process, the reason of how that supports your sustainability initiatives, and some resources and assistance that you can utilize to be successful. So the Sustainable Jersey for Schools program, we are a nonprofit. We're housed at the College of New Jersey in the Sustainability Institute. We are a subset of the Sustainable Jersey Municipal Program, which has over 80% of the communities in New Jersey have a green team at the town level. And that's been around for 10 years. And in 2014, we launched a school version of it. And it's been wildly successful. We can't be more proud about how it's been embraced by the schools. It's open to public and charter schools. It's free. It's voluntary. It was created for New Jersey by New Jersey. So it's not part of a national program, although we have had some other states kind of borrow our format and replicate, at least on the town level. If you go to Sustainable Maryland, you'll notice that their logos look a lot like Sustainable Jersey. And there's also a Sustainable Connecticut and a couple other states that we've been working with to replicate the success and the program structure we've created here in New Jersey. And the actions and the guidance is developed by your peers, folks in New Jersey, school board members, professionals, nonprofit folks who are experts in various fields, facilities directors, all serving on task force to come up with this exemplary guidance in our program. We do offer a certification at the school level, and we typically award that at the school board's workshop, although recently we did it last week in a virtual way. So we hope to be back together next October. So to illustrate for you this universe, this movement, spurred volunteers level. Again, 81% of municipalities participating, over 60% of all are, Howell and his side, schools with this. We have today with and with some certified, over-certified, and there's here not registered yet. So show you that it's on participate. Reported not or underwriter where do what we do. Over millions in grants out, and those grants are funded by NJEA and the PA Foundation fund. So we find those funds, channel them back to you so you can create project in school. And we are supported by all of the associations that work in schools. Again, we're part of our process for developing these actions. They help us by supporting professional development, and we attend each other's conferences and really help to move this forward. Because if you're creating a healthy school environment or you're investing in staff wellness, this if you purchasing green or facility to attend green building practices, that's something that the New Jersey Building Grounds Association has been pushing for. So we are just about and sustainable for school. It's not because we want to show it that his trying to talk about energy saving and with and program there were need to bring everything EA doing things had policy there's doing things in the classroom, but there wasn't no way to same banner. So together we created this Sustainable Jersey for School certification and roadmap, this framework that lists you as do these things in your school's efforts that you're not wrong. You might have a really great facilities director that's doing everything with energy management and savings and recycling, but you haven't started. You had it help and it lost all a way and to apply for grants to make it happen and also get recognized for the work. Why is this an umbrella? Because our definition of sustainability isn't really just about planting trees or celebrating Earth Day or putting solar panels on school. It's a mix of people, planet, and prosperity. So you'll notice in the program that there are actions that award you points for arts, for having all 4 arts disciplines by qualified teachers in your school. There's actions around social emotional learning. There's actions around equity because we recognize the whole human being. Staff wellness is part of having a sustainable school. So the actions in our program are under a menu. If you have the brochure, which Jen put in the chat, there's little symbols next to each action. You'll notice that there's a bell and there's a sort of a government building, and those tell you whether the action is a school action that happens at an individual building, or if it's a district action that happens district-wide at all of the schools. So as a district professional, if you're a Board of Education member or an administrator, you might want to look at the actions that are focused at the district level, because those are the actions where you would have the most impact to spread those across all of your schools. But we recognize that some things are done at different levels in the schools, and we want the district and the school leaders to work together to accumulate points towards certification. So we have over 90 different actions for schools to choose. It's a menu. So again, we don't require that you do all 90 actions, but you have a menu that you can choose from in order to earn your points to achieve certification. And regardless of certification, I'm going to talk about points a lot, but it's really not about the points. It's about shifting the culture in your school towards infusing sustainability into all of your school operations, the way that you purchase your food, the waste that you create in the cafeteria, in the classroom, the purchasing decisions you make in the business office, the procedures you have to support kids with asthma in your school, a whole host of things. So, this is the framework that we want you to look at.
Heather, can I jump in for a second?
Yes.
So that's an extremely important point that Heather is just making there about not just chasing points. We've seen some schools chase points, low impact, because then you get a small green team that is doing all the work and they burn out, and it's no impact or very little impact on the school district itself. If you want, the benefits for the school, whether they're energy savings, the education that takes place in the classroom, the buy-in from the community and the participation, it's a commitment. So again, Heather said you don't have to do all these 90 actions, but making the commitment and all in goes a really long way to a sustainable school. Instead of just chasing points, make sure that that's clear with your district members who are doing this. And the more people that can be involved in this to help move it along, the better. That's based on what I've seen in schools that really make it a commitment versus chasing points.
This is our web. Anything that's based, everything you need is at sustainablejerseyschools.com. If you want to apply for a grant, if you want to look at the actions in more depth, if you want to check and see if your school is registered, if you want to download a resolution to take to your next board meeting to get your school registered, it's on there. And then you can click through and see different actions. Our action guidance is down into several different areas. So we tell you why this action is important. Why should you even bother with it? So it's kind of like sustainability for dummies. We kind of say like, well, why should I care about my food purchasing or whether my school is doing well with integrated pest management or doing green cleaning. And then we show you who should be involved with it, how long it's going to take, how much it's going to cost, exactly what to do and how to do it, and then what to submit to earn points to show your work. Sometimes that's simply a letter from your BA or a copy of the policy and evidence that it was passed. And sometimes it's a little more detailed, like showing student work. And then we have spotlights for other schools in New Jersey that have been successful. So if there's something on this menu of actions that is important to you and you'd like your school to undertake, but you're getting resistance, either, from other staff at your school or administrators, and they're going, we can't do that. That's not possible. It's too much. Nobody's doing that. You can say, well, actually, let me tell you about these other 15, 20, 30 schools that are doing it. And you can borrow materials from them, steal their policy and make it yours. So it's all right there. And, we're going to talk in 2 weeks a lot about policy. John mentioned his sample policy, but we do have the sample policies for all of our policy actions on the website in the resources section. You can see here is a green purchasing policy. And then you can also search by action. So again, if you're here as a board member and you want the sample policies, you show me everybody who has a green purchasing policy. You can go to our map of certified schools. You can scroll down on the right-hand side and click off the action that you're looking for, and the map will just populate, pop, with all the schools that have achieved points for this. And you can view their certification report. You can read the story of how it happened and why it was important to them. And you can download and view their documents. So we try to make it really open source. Again, it's free and it's voluntary. So those of you who are not registered right now, doesn't matter. You can still go onto the website and check out all this stuff. So why go through the effort of that? So there's prestige, there's pride, There is, the cost savings. And then we also give our certified schools priority access to Sustainable Jersey grants. We hold back 50% of those funds for our certified schools to make sure that they get, a reward for their hard work. Now, if you're not certified, that's okay. You're still eligible to get grants. You just have to be registered. And that's, uploading a resolution by your board. And then you have to be able to tell us who's on your green team. That's it. And then you can apply for a grant. We want that money to be used as seed money to help get things going and encourage participation in your school. And then another thing, John mentioned some other sister programs like the Eco Schools program that's international and classroom based. So maybe if your school doesn't really have the people power or the will and the leadership to take on Sustainable Jersey, you can do Eco Schools at the classroom level and then slowly ramp up. We see sustainability in New Jersey. The programs are kind of like a pyramid. So Eco Schools is kind of the broadest one at the bottom that individual teachers can implement and get a green flag from Eco Ribbon for classroom-based work. Even if nothing great is happening, with the rest of the school, the school board's not quite active yet, or the facilities directors yet, class teachers got it going on, you can recognition for and add to that, and you start involving other administrative partners and leadership and broaden your focus a little bit, and you can get recognized at Sustainable Jersey. And then if you're exceptional, you can go for national recognition, which my friends in Howell and Winslow should absolutely consider. Applying for Green Ribbon Schools national recognition. We can only nominate 3 schools from the state of New Jersey, so it's very competitive. And the application is due December 18th. You can send a letter of intent by November 15th. It's just a letter, from your school principal saying that you intend to apply. Allison Mulch, who also runs Eco Schools with the Audubon Society, runs that as well. She's very supportive. She will hold your hand through this process. And the application for it is a total of 17 pages, but it's narrative. So it's kind of just writing about and telling about what your school's doing. So if you've already been successful in Sustainable Jersey, you've already written about what you're doing, you can definitely take a lot of that and stick it into their Green Ribbon application. They don't, unlike Sustainable Jersey, they don't ask for documentation. So you won't have to attach your policies. You won't have to attach student work. You can simply write a paragraph that, that summarizes what's been happening with your student learning. So again, I really do encourage some of the silver certified schools and some of our exceptional schools to go ahead and get lauded some more. So the levels of certification, we have a bronze certification at 150 points and a silver certification at 350 points. Everybody who gets certified must have a green team, and we'll go into detail about the makeup of that. We ask that you do at least 2 out of 11 priority actions. Priority actions are actions that we feel are sort of baseline for your sustainability work. So that could be community education and outreach, or student learning, or an energy audit, or passing a sustainability policy. So you have many different choices out of 11 that you can choose, and you just have to pick 2 to take on. And then we ask that you complete your activities across at least 6 of the 19 categories. So we talked about, not being in a silo of just your facilities department doing great, but not the other folks, or just doing things with policy, but not really engaging other partners. So that's our way of sort of getting you to do your activities across a lot of different departments. Now, our certification is good for 3 years. So you can get certified and get your plaque and just sort of chill out for the next 3 years and rest on your laurels, and that's fine. But a lot of our schools come back year after year because it keeps the momentum going. It keeps your green team active. And they also like to go for silver because your points, your activities, some of the activities are good for a year, some are good for 2 years, some are good for 5 years. So if you complete another application, even though you're not expired, you can build on some of those earned points that are still valid and build your application off that. So you're not starting from zero when you want to go for a higher level. I'm going to pop out here and I just want to share with you some of the schools that have been really phenomenal in the Sustainable Jersey for Schools program. And I'm going to share with you guys some videos from our recent award ceremony. These are what we call the Sustainability Champions. And these are folks that we recognize in the that have had the most points out of every school that's applied for certification. So the most points in elementary school, the most points in the middle school, and the most points in the high school level. Just trying to, it says that it's here.
While you're doing that, I had my audio on mute before, but going back real quick to Green Ribbon Schools, I will be doing a Facebook Live session with Allison Walsh on November 17th at 10 a.m. So if you go to our facebook.com//NJSBA, it'll be up in one of the events, and we're going to be talking all about Green Ribbon Schools. So if you have time, join us, and if you don't, it'll be recorded and you can go back and watch it.
Great, thanks for your patience. So yeah, I just and featured here are champion schools from Howell Township and Winslow. So Al, John, and Kelly should feel very, very proud.
Introduce Dr. Larry Feinstein, Executive Director of the New Jersey School Boards Association, to announce the 2020 Sustainability Champion Awards.
Hello, I'm Larry Feinstein, the Executive Director of the New Jersey School Boards Association. It gives me great pleasure to present to you the winners of this year's Sustainability Champion Award for elementary, middle, and high school categories. These schools have achieved certification with more points than any other applicant in their peer group for 2020. The 2020 Elementary School Sustainability Champion is Ramtown Elementary School, located in Howell Township. Ramtown Elementary achieved silver certification with a grand total of 435 points, more than any applicant this year. Congratulations, Ramtown Elementary.
Hello, I'm Joe Isola, the proudest superintendent in the state of New Jersey, and we are so excited to learn that this year, once again, all 12 of our school buildings have earned certification under the Sustainable Jersey Schools. This is such exciting news. And then to further learn that Ramtown Elementary School received the highest point total in the state of New Jersey. These accomplishments do not happen by accident. They happen because we have built a cohesive approach towards sustainable practices. Our schools continue to partner, and it is a common goal throughout our district. We work with our municipal partners and our entire community. There is nothing happening in a silo. In fact, we often say, we have 12 schools, but it is one community. We'd like to thank the folks from Sustainable Jersey, because we know this work matters, and we're glad to be a part of it.
Welcome to Ramtown School. Home of the Rams. Good evening. I'm AJ Bohr, proud principal of the Ramtown School. On behalf of the entire Green Team and learning community, we are very excited to be recognized with silver certification and the 2020 Elementary School Sustainability and Overall Champion Award. With that in mind, as with any recognition, the celebration is truly one of a team effort. As a school, we sought to purposely plan, set goals and timelines, utilize resources, involve our stakeholders, and share responsibility. We look to be energy efficient, curriculum-based, environmentally friendly, community-embedded, and embrace climate, culture, and wellness. Quite simply, our mission was to create change and make a difference because, after all, we each have a responsibility to make a positive impact on the world around us. In short, we have sought to show a snapshot of things that we've done as a school to help other schools move forward with this wonderful and important endeavor. Again, Ramtown School thanks Sustainable New Jersey Schools for this wonderful award. Have a great evening. Go Rams.
Go Rams.
The 2020 Middle School Sustainability Champion is Winslow Township Middle School, located in Winslow Township School District. Winslow Township Middle School achieved silver certification this year with a grand total of 370 points. Congratulations, Winslow Township Middle School.
I'm Dr. Poteet, Superintendent of the Winslow Township School District. I would first like to thank Sustainable New Jersey for their support of the many projects here in Winslow Township. Of course, I would like to congratulate Ms. Stella Wangoon, Principal of Winslow Township Middle School, her staff, and students.
Hello, my name is Stella Wanguma, and I'm the proud principal of Winslow Township Middle School. It is with great honor and pride that our administration, Green Team, staff, and students accept this recognition of our sustainable efforts. We thank Dr. H. Major Poteet, our Superintendent of Schools, and Dr. Dorothy Parkino, our Assistant Superintendent of Schools, for their leadership, guidance, and support. We are extremely grateful for the opportunities that our district has afforded us.
Teamwork and collaboration that's how we did this. It wasn't a single person, it was all of us working together.
At the middle school as a whole, we understand that sustainability isn't just going green.
We teach the students that sustainability is thinking about the future so that our actions today don't impact the future negatively.
Our language arts, math, science, art, and physical education classes all contributed lessons in sustainability.
This year, we actually swept in the lessons category.
They got to make sustainable sportswear. So they had to design their own logo to advertise sustainable practices.
We did like the art projects with using recycled materials and talking about the ocean and the things that were thrown and found in the ocean.
Kind of create their own hydroponic systems, utilizing waste product that would normally go in the trash.
The students actually got to harvest things that were grown in the garden, bring them into the classroom, prepare foods with them.
The other category that did help contribute was the enrichment through partnerships. The middle school does have a lot of organizations that we work with to provide students with these rich, meaningful experiences.
Our state schools reached out to us, and they presented a program about trying to be energy conscious. Students went around and calculated the amount of waste we had.
We have established educational spaces where students can read, garden, and study nature.
We have a rhizomatic garden within our building that we utilize for the students and the staff as well.
We get to see how the climate affects what happens in that pond ecosystem. We go out there at least once every season.
We have a staff wellness program that was in place and that staff were able to take advantage of.
We have a bunch of initiatives throughout the school with marker recycling, ink recycling.
Marker recycling program, extremely important. I would see kids, not because they were doing anything wrong, but a marker would be dried out and they would just throw it in the trash.
The grant monies we received from Sustainable Jersey Schools has been a foundational support in the area of professional development for staff and in the purchasing of equipment needed for our brand new greenhouse.
The greenhouse going up is huge. That will offer great opportunities for our students.
Now we're actually thinking about ways that they can carry the sustainability home with them into their homes. So that's nice to see that we can continue the goal of sustainability even through remote learning.
And my hope is, one, that they educate their parents, educate their peers.
So if we can show them the importance of sustainability now, that's something they'll carry with them throughout their life.
And understands that we can each play a role in making our planet better.
Thank you to Sustainable Jersey Schools for this honor and for your vision, encouragement, and support. We appreciate you.
The 2020 High School Sustainability Champion is Raritan High School, located in Hazlet Township School District. Raritan High School achieved silver certification this year with a grand total of 360 points. Congratulations, Raritan High School.
The types of equipment and the way the building was engineered helps lead to energy reduction. 44% of our energy consumption and Raritan comes from our solar energy. Also with the windows, we're able to reduce the amount of energy usage within that space. The windows have built-in blinds, so if you flip them out a certain way, you reduce the heat that's coming into the room. And also the same when the equipment's off, you're able to maintain that temperature for a longer period of time.
In 2018, Raritan High School was awarded a $10,000 grant from the New Jersey American Company to convert an underutilized courtyard into an outdoor environmental learning center. This outdoor learning space features a heated greenhouse, 2 raised garden beds, and a pollinator garden with a waterfall feature. The greenhouse is used to grow plants in the winter months and start seeds for the outdoor beds in the spring. The planting tables were built by our woodshop students and used old pallets to make the table legs. We have grown pumpkins, tomatoes, basil, parsley, dandelion, rosemary, strawberries, cilantro, and oregano. The food grown is used by both our cafeteria staff and culinary arts students to create nutritious meals. A special thanks to Sustainable Schools and the NJSBA for the generous $2,000 grant to jumpstart our gardens. The waterfall feature uses water runoff from the roof and recirculates this water to create a peaceful outdoor learning space. The picnic tables were designed and built by one of our students for his Eagle Scout project and are used throughout the year by both students and staff alike.
Here at Raritan High School, the Environmental Club and Green Team are involved in many projects related to sustainability. One big thing we have are we compost kitchen scraps for our cafeteria, and that compost is used at our outdoor environmental learning center for our school gardens. We collect coffee pods and compost the coffee, and the plastic pod pieces get recycled through TerraCycle. And then we have our Crayola color cycle program where we accept all used markers and then send them to Crayola, and they recycle the plastic and repurpose it.
We also have this big project that we have been collecting in this container, the plastic bags.
And they recycle that material into new items. Collecting plastics that have a number 5 on them because they don't get recycled at home we actually ship them to a company that melts it down, repurposes it, and makes new products as well.
In 2019, RHS received a $10,000 grant from PSE&G and Sustainable Schools to purchase reusable plastic trays, tray cards, and repair the dishwasher to reduce the amount of solid waste generated by the school cafeteria. Our new reusable plastic lunch cafeteria trays program was spearheaded by student members of the RHS Environmental Science Club. The cafeteria switched from using styrofoam trays for the hot lunch to plastic trays that are washed and reused. Not only did we help to reduce the amount of waste sent to landfills, we hired a graduate of our RHS Life Skills program to lead this initiative.
We can all make a difference. Our mantra, reuse, reduce, recycle.
Okay, so that's just a snippet of what's been going on in our certified schools. I have the ceremony is an hour and a half, and there's also some wonderful snippets from our other certified schools that are a little bit shorter. But if you're interested, that's on our YouTube page, or you can also get to it from the Sustainable Jersey Facebook page. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right thing here. Anybody from Winslow or Howell want to chime in about your achievements?
Anybody have any questions in general?
Am I losing you guys?
No, Heather, we can still hear you.
Okay. My computer's just going really slow. It's not coming up. Let me just hit escape.
Yeah, I was going to say stop sharing your screen and then reshare it.
Okay.
Sometimes it does that.
Oh, there's stuff. Got it. Okay, I think I made it work too hard.
Technology, you gotta love it. Does anybody have any questions? Quiet group today.
I know we are competing with a lot today, and the NJEA is today, and there's national things probably blowing up your phone right now. Let's see, people are viewing the PowerPoint, so you're not seeing.
Yeah, we're good. We can see it.
You see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't, but okay. Very interesting.
It's in slide mode. It's not in presentation mode. So if you hit presentation, maybe that'll help.
Yeah, it's very tiny on my screen. I'm going to just stop sharing one more time. I apologize, everybody.
No, it's okay. Earlier you were breaking up a little bit your audio, but then after like maybe 30 seconds, it actually kicked in and the audio has been working.
Oh, it's Microsoft PowerPoint. It decided to lock up, so that's fun. But anyway, yeah. So I do encourage you to check out our award ceremony. It's filled with a lot of inspiration, and you'll see that the schools, we have the framework of the actions, but the schools really make it their own. They choose whether or not they want to do something with their courtyard, or whether they want to have an outdoor garden, or whether they want to engage in energy projects or healthy eating projects or things like that. So you'll notice as the schools submit their various videos that they'll emphasize different things depending on the people power of the group that they've assembled. And that people power is essentially the green team. So in Sustainable Jersey world, the green team is the core group that helps you accomplish the actions. And John, my screen, I'm getting the blue wheel of death on PowerPoint. So I don't know if you want to revert to our Google presentation that has my slides and bring it up to the slide that has the two, the silver and the bronze. So it's interesting. So for the green team is not a group of students. The green team is a multidisciplinary group from your school or school district. Now, if you are a large school district like Howell has 12 schools, they may focus their green team at the district level, where it's a green team maybe of 20 people or 15 people, and there's representatives from each school district, each school on that green team. So it's a district green team with representation from all the schools. If you're a smaller school district, like, half of the school districts in New Jersey are school districts that are 2 schools or less, then you might want to have your school district or your green team at a school level. And actually, John, it seems to be working again. It was a problem with my external hard drive.
Okay, I can.
And now it's happy again.
I will stop sharing. I will pass the ball back to you.
Sorry, we had a backup plan, so thank goodness for that. So
backup plan.
Yeah, so when you're thinking about how this is going to come into play in your school, you can configure your green team in a way that works best for your school or school district. We don't really prescribe that for you. We let you configure that any way that you want, and you can add students to that. You can invite students that you can have in Delran. Each school does have a pretty significant student-led green team, or at the high school level, it might be an environmental club, but that's not a requirement. Okay, so can you guys see the presentation now?
Yes.
Okay, all right, sorry about that. So just going back, so aside from the points and the spread of activities, the timeline for getting certified starts in January, ends in June. It's a very supportive process. So those of you who've been through it before know that you can work on it incrementally. You can send us a little bit in January. We'll look at it. We'll approve things. We'll tell you things that need a little bit more work. We'll send it back. And on and on. So you have 3 opportunities to build on your application. If you're not ready to submit anything in January, that's okay. You can jump in for the first time in March. And if you're not ready in March, you can jump in for the first time in June. But we do recommend you try to participate in some of the early submission processes, because it's a good opportunity for feedback, and sometimes we'll help you maximize your points. You'll be telling us about an initiative and we'll say, well, really, you could put it here and get more points, or you could break it up and tell me about it here too. So it's a nice opportunity to get that feedback. And you can see folks who are really proud of upgrading to silver there from our recent certification ceremony. So important to note that although districts complete applications and help earn points for certification, and schools complete applications and earn points towards certification, only the school receives the Sustainable Jersey certification. So even though Howell had all 12 of their schools certified, Howell District did not receive a Sustainable Jersey District certification. However, it's really significant and awesome, and shows really powerful leadership that they did implement this in all of their schools. So the reason that we do that is because it's not really a fair playing field in New Jersey. Again, half of the schools have half the districts have 2 schools or less. So it's not really fair to have a district designation when for Newark to do it, they've got to do 60 plus schools. But for Kingwood to do it, they've only got to do one school. So that's just important to know that there is actually no district certification. So this is how it works. Those of you who are not registered, first step is your school district is going to adopt a resolution of participation. Giving blanket permission. And again, it's free. There's no budgetary obligation related to participating in the program. And then the superintendent will invite school principals and schools to participate. So those schools that are interested will join up by signing a letter. So it doesn't have to be all of your schools. If you only have one school that's got some on fire people that are ready to take ownership of this and move it forward, then just have that one school participate. I know Elmwood Park is here. You guys have already passed the resolution, but you haven't registered an individual or multiple schools yet. So you do want to get at least one school to submit that letter to our website so that you have somebody that can actually receive a certification as you work on that. And same with Ocean Gate. You guys passed the resolution, but you haven't registered any schools. So we're looking for you to get someone at the school, principal and superintendent, to sign a letter of participation. Okay. Oh, Melanie, you said you did. All right. I'm going to check my list. I was just kind of looking at the list as I saw you guys chime in. So it could be my list doesn't have the most up-to-date certification on there. So good to hear. And then you create a green team either at the district or the school level, and then you work on your actions and submit your documentation for certification. So I mentioned the different types of actions, and when you go on our website, you'll see the different symbols next to the actions. So district only action, or it means that it's completed at the district level on the district's interface, and the school means it can be done at the school level on the school's interface. And then you'll see some that have both symbols next to it, and that's to give you an option. So if you're Newark and you have a green team and you have 61 schools, you don't want to upload your green team list 61 times on 61 applications. You want to say, give me the shortcut. I'm going to do this on the district side. I'm going to put it in the computer one time, and then it's going to filter down to all the school applications. Or maybe you're a very small district and you're one school and everybody's kind of real tight working together because it's real small. You can just put it in the school application. So we do give you an option based on your configuration, how you want to do it. So I mentioned that doing things at the district level earns points for every school that's participating. Again, Howell and Winslow have multiple schools, over 10 schools each, and all of the schools in their district are certified. So when the board members pass a green cleaning policy or a sustainability policy, or their strategic plan includes green initiatives, they upload that document into the district application, and automatically the elementary school gets 10 points, the middle school gets 10 points, the high school gets 10 points. So if they pass 4 policies, then each one of their schools that's trying to get the recognition, the certification, gets 40 points. So you can look at this if you're a school district that has multiple schools and you're really looking to support them and give them a head start. You can look at those actions that apply to you as district leaders to help them achieve certification. And again, we're really going to focus on that at the next session in 2 weeks. There are 480 points that districts can earn on behalf of the schools. And that is honestly how Newark did it recently. Newark this year achieved certification for all 61 schools. And it was really on the strength of things that they were doing at the district level that helped create a foundation for those schools to get started and achieve a bronze certification. I'm sorry, did someone want to say something? I heard a little beep on.
Yeah, Heather, I was going to say we have a couple of questions too. If the folks want to ask some questions right now, that would be great.
Yeah, go for it.
So Melanie, you had an order. Somebody just chimed in. Who was the last person that spoke?
I think Melanie was just clarifying that she
Melanie.
did actually register some folks. Yeah.
Right. But Melanie, you had a question, so you want to ask your question
Sure.
and let everybody hear it?
I was just wondering, I mean, you could wait till the end too, just as a group, what some projects people are thinking about. I know we're all in different stages of the implementation process or culture shifting process, and just love to hear, some ideas from the people that are on here. And thanks for the presentation ideas. And, I'd love to see what all the districts are doing and working on out there. So I bring it back to our group and see what people's thoughts were on this chat.
Somebody want to chime in and answer that comment?
I can tell you what we're working on.
Well, if nobody wants to ask or
Yeah,
chime in.
there's definitely a reason why you're here today. So yeah, let's hear about it.
What are you working on?
So for us, we are looking to submit a application for the grant, working on a school garden and/or learning space outdoors that would be conducive to growing plants, learning, space for more wellness activities and mindfulness. That would be our start, and our like a courtyard type area for that.
Yeah, Melanie, a lot of schools are investing in outdoor classrooms, particularly in this time of COVID. It gives the opportunity to get the kids outside and for them to take a mask break, if you're able to have enough space for them to be even more distance from each other. One of the videos that one of our certified schools submitted as part of our program, if you have time to look, it's towards the back third of the program is from Spring Lake Heights, and someone actually got on the roof of the school and took a video of the kids in the outdoor classroom, with the teacher with the outdoor blackboard teaching, and they were socially distanced, sit apart, and then there were some in another section working on the garden, and it was just a really beautiful depiction of how that investment they made, last year with the grant, is now really coming in handy for their school, and that they and a couple schools I think you saw in Hazlitt too, are doing the same thing. And we do have an outdoor classroom action that you would receive points for that project. And so in terms of the grants, you can use the grant funds for anything that you can tie back to an action in our program. So whether it's equipment or professional development or an innovative project that we haven't thought about yet, as long as you can make the case that it could potentially earn points in our program. And again, now that's going to include digital learning. It includes social emotional learning, iSTEAM, the arts. So really, there's not much we say no to. So the grant application is great. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, so Melanie, yesterday, speaking of outdoor classrooms, we did a Facebook Live yesterday on at the Watershed Institute, and we talked about outdoor classrooms. But for those on the call today here, do some research on outdoor classroom and the benefits to schools and the benefits of child development and SEL. There's a lot of research going on right now. So if you want justification to do outdoor learning or outdoor classrooms, there's tons of it in the research. So we have another question as well, and that's from Bridget. Bridget, if you'd like to ask your question, otherwise I could read it, but if you want to chime in on that one, this is a big one too. It's a big question here.
Sure. So hi, I'm Bridget from Bradley Beach, and we are not a sustainable Jersey school, but I imagine that proposing this at this time, the biggest resistance will be, how do you do all of this in a COVID world, and how are people modifying their projects, and how they're taking precautions to make sure everyone is safe. I know even we actually have a garden at the school. And the school actually stopped doing the garden, and they're letting the food pantry manage the garden because they don't want the students involved. So I'm wondering, how are schools taking precautions during this time?
Yeah, it's been a challenge, and that situation with the garden is not uncommon. I mean, normally during summer break, a lot of schools use partner organizations to maintain the gardens, or different educators or parents take shifts. And now it's kind of like an amplified version of that situation. Just like you described, having other partners come in for a longer period of time, or even during the school year to maintain what you've started. We've seen things being modified for the home use, like several of our schools participate in the Power Save Schools program, which is a resource program that they get for free as part of their participation in Sustainable Jersey. If they're in New Jersey natural gas territory, or if they're in South Jersey gas territory, that opportunity is available to their schools, and they get educational materials, an online portal. They get a bag full of goodies for their kids to do light metering, and basically help their school save energy through behavior-based conservation. And they have saved, a Long Branch does this, and in addition to their solar projects and things, they've saved over $400,000 a year off of their school budget just from behavior-based change. So they didn't buy any new windows or enter into with a contractor for anything. It's just the kids going around and having contests with shutting off lights and not turning the lights on if there's enough. So anyway, this program has been modified for kids to do these things now at home. So there's been modifications in that vein. Green teams that used to meet in person are now doing a lot with Google Drive, collecting their information, and of course meeting virtually. There's green fairs that used to happen in person at the school are now being done virtually. Community education and outreach that might have been an event is now a virtual film festival. And it also may affect the types of actions which you pursue. So maybe during this year of COVID, you focus more on policy and professional development and purchasing, more district level things versus things that involve the community, or things that involve folks getting together. But just about every action can be modified for the COVID world. So if you're doing an education for sustainability lesson, and there's like 20 of those in our program, you're just delivering it digitally, and your sample of student work is something that's a screenshot, or so it can be modified. But of course, you do have the additional challenges of one week being different from the next week, and you don't know whether your school's going to be open or closed, or whether you have enough teachers to to continue to provide the services. So we completely understand the challenges, and in fact, last year, the closures happened mid-cycle. We had schools that had already started, made good progress on their application, and just weren't able to pick it back up. And we made the decision to extend the expiration dates of those schools that were going to hit their 3-year expiration. We said, you know what, we're just going to give you an extra year because this is too much. But despite that, strangely enough, we ended up having the largest certification class we've ever had. We had 147 schools get certified this year. It's largely due to Newark, but because those schools like Howell, like Hazlitt, like Winslow, this was already part of their culture. This is something they were going to do every year regardless. And they had maybe like 80 points left over from their certification last year that didn't expire. So they just had to sort of keep going with a couple things, and they were able to continue to build and continue their certification. And it's part of their identity. So they kind of didn't want to leave that behind. But no, it's not like the folks were saying in the video. It's not a one-person thing. It's a team effort. And it may not be something that you can undertake this year. But in this year of solitude and contemplation and aloneness, you could think about this program and you could start strategizing. And that's exactly what these sessions are about, giving you enough information that you can look at that list and mark off what you're already doing. Like you've mentioned, you're already planning to do outdoor classroom, you've already got a garden, you probably are doing some, you can mark off what you're doing and say, okay, we're already doing 90 points of stuff. What can we do, or what would we like to do later this year or next year to get recognized and get us over the hump to complement what we're already doing? Does that help? Yeah.
In addition to it, I would put this, Bridget, back on the students and have this is a great way to do a challenge with the students to figure out how they can adapt. Put it on the students. You'll be surprised on some of the innovative ways that their brains think. So, if you want to, just present the facts to them, present the situations to them, and have the students do it as a challenge.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did anybody else have anything to share at this time? Okay, so we'll keep going. So again, kind of to Melanie's question of how do you do it? There's a million different priorities in schools right now. And even before COVID, there was, kind of tribes, right? There was the Wellness Council tribe and like the creative team or iSTEAM tribe and the student safety tribe. And you might have had a future ready team. And you may say, oh man, another meeting. But what you can do is you can combine these groups so that you meet the requirements of the green team, but really don't have to make folks go to another meeting. And the most common one we see is a mesh of the Wellness Council with the existing Wellness Council that you're required to do with our green team, because it's largely the same people. We'd like to see a nurse, we'd like to see a food service director, we like to see principal, facilities staff. So maybe you augment it with some educators and, some other folks, and maybe you divide the meeting schedule. So the first half is Wellness Council business and the second half is Green Team business. And things that you normally do on the Wellness Council team about, physical activity, healthy school environment, staff wellness, you get points for all of those things that the Wellness Council normally does within the framework of the Sustainable Jersey program. So that, it's a natural match. So if you have an existing group in your school that, kind of overlaps with some of the action categories, think about just adding to them and having them serve as part of your green team or as your green team. We also have school districts like Delran has written it into the contract. So there's a sustainability coordinator at each school, and there's an educator that gets a stipend, a small stipend for doing that. And you can use our grant funds for stipends, especially the $2,000 grant. That's an ideal use for that grant. We also have schools like Raritan has instituted a program where if you're on the green team and you need time to work on this, you get more release time. So instead of working cafeteria duty or hall duty or other things like that, you would get some free periods to do green team stuff. So you can be creative about that, how you find the time, how you get people together, how you, make it a priority. Again, there tends to be programmatic whiplash. Every year you go into school and it's a different focus, the flavor of the year. Your superintendent will say, this year we're going to be a school of character, and this year we're going to be blue ribbon, and this year, but all of those things are under the Sustainable Jersey umbrella. And you can get points for those things within our program. So I really believe that this is the one to stick with and have those different initiatives or focus areas be supported by, receive grant funds for, and receive recognition for them within your Sustainable Jersey certification. Yeah, so some other tips here. To make the sustainability part of your district goals. So there's some superintendents with us today. That has been something that's pretty popular. And for you as a superintendent, it's fairly easy because there's a lot of things you can steal and borrow from our successful schools that'll make it easier for you to achieve these goals. There's a lot of roadmaps to help them happen. You can include sustainability related PD in your staff goals. So when you're making those decisions at the beginning of the year, in order to free up those people time to pursue these things, it's written into their PD plan. Stipends, release time, meeting remotely, and you can pull in folks from outside your school. We have a couple green teams that at the school level that are run by parents, particularly parents that are very active or successful at the town green team level are happy to come in and share their expertise and their knowledge on how to navigate the online application with your school. So it doesn't have to be something that you as a principal or, have to take on. You can definitely pull some other folks in and free up time for them to participate. So on our website, we have a green team resource section. And in there, we have what's called a master action tracking spreadsheet. It is an Excel spreadsheet, and it has all of the actions listed. So there's 3 ways you can look at the actions. You can look at them on the brochure, in the colors. You can look at them on the website in a drop-down menu, and you can also look at them on this spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet is great because you can sort it by district or school actions. You can sort it by how long the actions are good for. You can sort it by category. You can assign it to people. You can check the status. So it's a good resource to have. There's also an application user guide on there that tells you how to navigate our online application. I love to see when our school and town green teams work together because, we're all short on time. And as you saw in the map at the beginning, there's this wonderful universe of 81% of the municipalities have people that care about this and would love to partner with you. And more than that, there are actions that are in both programs. So we have our list of actions and they have their list of actions. And within that, there's some duplication. So each program has community education and outreach. Each program has a green fair. So typically, maybe the green fair happens at your school. You donate the space. You have some kids exhibit there. You help promote the fact that it's happening by sending it home with your students. And then the town green team helps get vendors for it, or partners to show up. In Collingswood, their certified school this year did a virtual green fair. And so they submitted their video of their virtual green fair that was put together by both town and school, and they both got points for it. So they're collaborating on one project together, and they both receive the points on their applications. Civic and stewardship activities, things that they do in the community, recycling non-mandated materials, maybe the drop-off location is at your school gardens, community asset mapping. That's kind of where you list out all of the people resources, the place resources, the organization resources in your sending district. And if your town has already done that on the green team level, you can take their work and stick it in your application, and you get credit for that as well. And then the Safe Routes to Schools program, again, that's public streets around your school. And if your municipality is doing that, enhancing things with crosswalks or making bike lanes, things like that, you both can get points for that. We do have another video in our certification awards that highlights wonderful collaboration between Egg Harbor Township and the Egg Harbor Green Team. And for time purposes, I'm not going to play that for you, but I do encourage you to check that out on our Facebook page or on our YouTube page. So in terms of the application, it is a living document. It's on the website, and you simply click the log on button on our website, create your own login with your own email address, and you create a password. And once you get in there, you'll see that we sort of break things down. We help you with the math. So you'll see a list of actions. You can search the actions by keywords. I don't remember what that one was, but I know it was about cleaning. You can put in cleaning and the action will come up. It also automatically calculates the certification criteria for you. So you might have, 225 points, but you forgot to do your green team action. You forgot to do the mandatory action, or you forgot to make sure you had a priority action done. It'll help you calculate that automatically based on what you're selecting to complete your application. You will upload your files there. You will type in your narratives, all online. And from year to year, your information stays in there. So the folks from Howell and Winslow, when they go back in there next year, their policy is still going to be in there. They just might have to update their narrative and say, who they told about the policy this year, or tell us how things have progressed. But the documentation is still going to be there. So if you are a repeat customer, you have a little bit less work to do. And along that line, one of the things that's common in almost every single action is telling people about it. So it's kind of one of those, like, if the tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear? So if you're passing all these great policies, or you've implemented a green cleaning program, or you've received some sort of recognition for your work, and you haven't told anybody, like you didn't tell anybody that you included green initiatives as part of your strategic plan, or you didn't tell anybody that you were working on an energy savings initiative, then you won't get points, because we want you to do the thing, and we want you to tell your community that you did the thing, whether it's on your website or a Twitter post or a school newsletter, because that's part of telling the story of your work. And it also helps the community see that you're interested in preparing their kids for the future and engaging in activities that ultimately help save money for the district.
Board meetings
So
as well,
applying.
Heather. Board meetings
What's that, John?
Board meetings is another great way to communicate to the public, and plus it goes on the board notes, and that'll, that gets captured as well. Another great way to do it.
Yep, thank you for that. So on the website, when you go to sustainablejerseyschools.com, you'll click the sign in or sign up button. And then again, you'll just type in your email address of choice, could be your district or personal email, and you'll create your own login, and that'll just be your login. And then you'll navigate to your school and district dashboards. So if you're a board member, you might only be attached to the district one, or if you're a superintendent, you might have access to the district and the school application. Again, the district application supports by earning points that flowed into the school application. So you might see those together. So we can link you, or you can link yourself. One of the most important things is to manage the users. And here's also where you would download your registration documentation. So for some of those who haven't registered any schools yet, this is where you would upload the resolution, or your school district, or your school participation letter. And then we also like you to update your information, because when we're sending information about grant opportunities, or the ability to sign up for Power Save Schools, or we want to communicate to you about your certification, these are the folks that we talk to. You can have up to 2 primary and secondary contacts, and then you can have unlimited users. So when it comes time to upload stuff and put in your descriptions, you could have an army of like 11 or 15 people working on it. So we really don't like to see you alone at 11:45 the night before the midnight deadline working on this all by yourself. So you can manage the owners and contributors. You can invite people. So once you're in here, if you're online today and you're thinking, oh, I know just the person who'd really like to be involved with this, you can go in and you can add them as an owner or contributor, and you can send them an invitation, and then they can click on that and have access as well. So again, our application's all online. It'll calculate things for you. The interface saves your information. You can also look at other work from your school. So if you're logging in as a Winslow person, you can see the district application, and then you can also look at the school applications. You can see your certification status. You can look at reviewer feedback. You can look at reviewer feedback from last year. If you had stuff you worked on from before and you wanted to look at it again. If you're confused about, oh, I forget exactly what I'm supposed to stick in here to get credit for it, you can click on the action and it'll open up in a separate window and help you refresh your memory as to what you were looking for. And in terms of actions that a district or a school can both work on, you'll need to talk to each other and make sure you've communicated who's doing what, because the district has sort of the primacy or the priority. So if the district claims the action, says, I'm going to do the green team at the district level, then it's all grayed out and the school can't do it. So make sure that you communicate to each other. And we have a few actions that are variable point, particularly in the energy realm. Depending where you're at in your energy activities, maybe you're only going to get 5 or 10 points because you're just starting out and maybe you just got your energy audit for your building. But maybe you're really on fire with this and you've done your energy audit and you have an energy savings improvement plan and you installed solar, so maybe you're not going for 5 or 10 points. You want us to consider you for 50 points. So you'll need to mark that down as well. But that's only for a handful of actions. Most actions, the point value is already in there. So we asked you to provide a short summary, talking about what you did and the impact on the community. And then you pull from your computer and upload your document and stick it in there. You can upload up to 6 documents. So if you have more to say about it, sometimes it's nice to put a link in your description or maybe an attached document with a couple links for us. Screenshots are okay. And then we always remind you to hit save so that stays in there. And when you do that, when you complete an action or you plan for an action, it affects your total. So you'll be able to know your progress on there. You can also sort and see, what has expired from a previous application that you might want to refresh to continue to get points for it. So when you're in the application, if you want us to review what you've done, you'll need to mark actions as completed. And if you are working in a district application, you don't have to have 150 points in your total column in order to submit it for us for review. So maybe you've only submitted, maybe you've only done like 2 policies between now and January or now and March, and you want us to take a look at them and approve them so that later on, when your schools come in, those points will be ready and waiting for them. So you can, as a district person, submit the district application with 20 points, 30 points, whatever you got, and we'll review it. If you are submitting as a school, you'll need to have at least 150 points in there in order for the yellow button to light up. And sometimes people will just click off the completed button just so that that button will light up. So maybe you really only have like 60 points of stuff, but you hit complete on some stuff that has nothing in it just so you can get that reviewed. And we work with you on that. That's okay. Again, we talked about the point totals and things being grayed out if you don't quite have what you need to submit. So all of this, again, is in the application user guide. So, places to go, you're signing in, you're navigating to your dashboard, you want to make updates, you want to save, you want to change the status of what you're submitting to us so that we know that it's completed and we know to look for it and review it. You want to check your totals to make sure that you have enough so that we can consider you for certification, and then hit the yellow button. And these are things that you're going to go through as you look to submit for January or for March or for the June submission deadline. So some reasons why folks are not successful. It's very rare for people to achieve certification the first time if they don't participate in, at least 2 or 3 feedback periods. Although this year we did have 2 schools for the very first time, Spring Lake Heights and Franklin Township Elementary in Somerset, that got silver certification right off the bat. And that was crazy. That was unheard of. It's very hard to get 350 points approved for the very first time. And they submitted an exceptional applications with a lot of stuff going on there. And so it's possible. But sometimes folks don't get approved for actions if their documentation is too old. They're submitting something that was from too long ago. And that information about how far back in time you can go to pull something forward is in the action description as well as on that spreadsheet. So if you completed a solar project or an energy audit like 5 years ago, you don't have to do another one. You can just tell us about the one that you already did, or you already have a garden and it already exists. You don't have to make a new garden. You can tell us about the one that already exists. So you don't have to do 150 points worth of stuff in 1 year. You can go back in time and tell us about stuff that happened in the past and is still happening or being maintained, or you passed a policy a couple years ago. It's still a policy. You don't have to redo it. So keep that in mind as you think about looking at that list of what you've already done. Not submitting the proper documentation. That happens a lot of times. People just read the title and say, oh yeah, we do that, and submit what they think we're looking for when it's actually not what we're looking for. Taking credit for the same initiative 2 times, as we call double dipping. So maybe you're talking about your school garden in 3 different places. We really only want to give it credit in the appropriate place. And that brings me to the gardens. I usually write this out when we're together in person, but we have a couple different actions to look at in terms of gardens. So if you have a food garden that grows something you can eat, whether it's herbs or fruits or vegetables or hydroponic, that you can get points under the school garden action if it's edible stuff. If it is a rain garden or a rain barrel, or something that affects stormwater runoff, that is a green infrastructure project. If it is a mindfulness garden or a sensory garden, that is will be considered under the innovative projects action, or potentially under a social emotional project action. And if it is something to support a species, like a butterfly garden or a native plants garden or a beekeeping thing or bat boxes, that will be considered under a biodiversity project action. So there's lots of places to get credit for all the wonderful things that are happening on your school grounds. You'll just have to make sure that they go in the right box. And that's where, having the review kind of helps you out. Another thing is failure to tell people, failure to do outreach or education, which is required for a lot of actions. Again, that could just be a social media post, an email to your staff. There's a couple ways you can meet those requirements. Or failure to complete a prerequisite action. We don't really have too many of those. One of those is strategic planning. So if you want to get points for implementing things in your strategic plan, you'll have to pass the strategic plan first. So again, you want to maximize your opportunities for district support of your things. One of the things, we'll talk about this in 2 weeks, but just as a starting point for today is the sustainability policy. This is a priority action. It's a baseline thing that you can do, and we have lots of samples from John in our resource section of the action, as well as on that map I showed you earlier. You can click on there and say, show me all the sustainability policies. I want to see Howell's sustainability policy. I want to see Winslow's sustainability policy. So you can maybe do that now if you want to put that on the docket for your next board meeting. It usually takes about 2 months to get things passed, and then you'll have that ready to go if you want to include that in your 2021 certification application. So at a minimum, the sustainability policy that we recommend has a definition of sustainability. It has an intent to use the principles of sustainability as a framework for decision making. It doesn't mean that your school is perfect. It doesn't mean that you're going to be the strictest, greenest school ever. It just means that you're going to consider sustainability, and you're going to be mindful of it. And as you look at the building projects that you do or the choices that you make, that you have sustainability in mind, and it's part of your framework for your overall decision making. And again, that definition of sustainability is broad, right? It includes your people, it includes the finances, it includes the energy usage. So it can apply to a lot of things that are probably already in your strategic plan. So it needs a definition, your statement of intent, and then it has to have in the language an intent to protect the students and staff and community from environmental harm, the intent to prepare students for the future, and the intent to preserve current and future resources. So when you see some of the sample policies and the policies that have been passed by other schools in the program, you'll see that they've basically cut and pasted this into the policy. So this is something that is as takeaway you can take away with you today. John, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that in the school board's policy, it has all of what you just mentioned in that.
Yep. And I've seen a little trick that a lot of schools are doing too. Like they'll see that we have 4 or 5 policies, and so they'll make one big long policy. So there'll be a sustainability policy and the green cleaning policy and the wellness policy and the physical activity policy, kind of all in this one monster document, and they'll pass it all together. And yeah, they're knocking out 40 points right there, 4 policies together. So as long as you're including the minimum language that's outlined in the requirements, it's okay to do that.
Heather, that's what our policy is. It's
Yeah.
one, like an 8-page comprehensive, and you could pick and choose if you wanted to break some of those points out and make an individual policy, and that's on just waste management or energy, you're welcome to do that. But it is a comprehensive policy, which includes quite a bit of information, including gardens.
Yep. So another thing I want to talk about is external sources of assistance. So in each action, there's going to be that resource section. And typically that's where you'll find partners who are already experts in this or provide some sort of service or outreach to you to help you get it done. One of the places, I like to call this the freebie category, is our student safety category. There's 4 actions in there. There is the Safe Routes to Schools policy, the promotion of walking and biking initiatives, and there is the safe driving education. So you can achieve points in that category without really kind of doing anything yourselves. You can achieve points there by just lifting up the phone and reaching out to these folks. So in order to get points for the safe driving education, you could go into the resource section. There is New Jersey manufacturers. They have a free teen driver safety program. They'll send someone out to do an assembly, or in this case, probably a remote assembly, for your school for free. And if you're a high school, they also give away 10 driving simulators a year. So your school could potentially get a driving simulator from them, and you'll get 10 points. And they're not the only folks that do that. There's a bunch of people in the resource category that would do that. So that's just picking up the phone, having one of these education things, and you meet the requirement and you get points. And then for things related to the Safe Routes category, there's these folks called Transportation Management Agencies, TMAs, and they're paid for by highway tax dollars. And they're just waiting for you to pick up the phone. They're free to you, and they will help you develop a walking school bus program. They'll help you make a bus route plan, maybe put your stinkiest, oldest buses on the shortest route and the cleaner, newer buses on the longer routes. And so they're a tremendous resource to help you get points in these categories, and they will do the work for you. Also, the New Jersey Clean Energy Program. One of our actions is an energy tracking and management program. Some schools hire consultants. But if you have a pretty astute facilities manager or facilities staff in your school, they can take advantage of the free energy tracking and management software program that's on the Clean Energy website and begin tracking their stuff there. And it'll create a report. It'll tell you how your school stacks up against other schools. It'll identify problem areas. It'll help inform where they need to tweak energy and heating and cooling operations in your school. And you'll get points and you'll get information, and it's free. So you might be under the assumption that you need to pay somebody to do these things, but in our resource sections, we often point towards things that people that are just waiting to help you and help you do this for free. And you'll get points for participation in existing programs. So the EPA flag program, our Region 2 EPA reps will give you free flags for your school that you can display to educate folks about air quality and help inform your practices for having kids go out into the weather if they have asthma. Asthma-friendly school certification, your nurse is already doing this, and you'll get points if your nurse is getting the asthma-friendly school certification. Again, Future Ready is incorporated into our program, and Safe Routes to Schools. So I really encourage you to look at the spotlights at the bottom of each action to get inspired and see how other schools are doing it. I encourage you to do searches and check out other schools' certification applications, read their stories. And actually, when you click on those applications, you can talk to the other Green Team folks. So if you see somebody like Hazlitt who's switched out their trays for old school washing trays and you want to find out where to get them from and how much they paid, you can click on their school information and talk to Gerald Peterson and say, Gerald, I saw your application. I saw that you guys got rid of styrofoam. Help me do this. And they're usually more than willing to share that information. So your strategy for moving forward is to, if you're not registered, pass a resolution, register your district. That resolution is on our homepage. Sign a letter of participation and get your schools registered. Focus on completing your Green Team action, get your folks together. Look at identifying 2 priority actions that will support your application. Look at what you're already doing and what you could do, and add some folks to your application to help get it done. So we are going to share this presentation with you, but here are the links. Again, easy thing to do is to work on that policy, to apply for a grant. Concentrate on the getting your team together and utilizing the resources that we have. So I'm Heather in the middle, and that's my contact information. And my colleague Veronique is currently manning our virtual booth at NJEA today. So she's not with us, but she'll be with us in subsequent trainings. And then Lawrence Coco is our digital schools program consultant, and he'll be leading the webinar on December 15th, and also another webinar with this Sustainable Practices program in February. So we look forward to sharing more information with you about that. So now I guess we have a few minutes left. John, if you want to take some additional questions. I know that was a lot of information, but we just wanted to give you the groundwork of where your implementation goes. And we really want you to take a look at that menu of action so that you can start strategizing, and we'll take a deeper dive over the coming weeks.
Yes, Heather, thank you so much. As usual, a great job. And you can imagine that we used to do this in one day and all the actions, and it was a very, very long day. So breaking it up into 2-hour chunks is, I think, a little bit more palatable. So that's great. But thank you. Great job. So, and I want to thank everybody for attending today. It's great that you have this interest, and it's great that you're putting in the time. It is absolutely worth it in the long run and in the short run as well. So does anybody have any final questions before we end? Anything at all? I don't know if I can answer that question. It's a very complicated one. Thank you for asking it. No, I'm just kidding. So, well, I guess if we don't have any questions, again, thank you very much for attending today. This the presentation is recorded. So if you would like to share this presentation with some of your colleagues, we will make it available to you. Just send us an email. Send me an email or Jennifer Seal, who is on this call as well, an email, and we will make sure that you get this or any other information that you want, any other question. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us or Heather, of course, and her team. They're tremendous at, they know the program, they run the program, very helpful. Jennifer, any final parting shots from you?
No, just a great presentation. Good job, Heather, and great job, John. It was very enjoyable, and it was nice breaking it up into these 2-hour sessions, because sometimes taking all that information at once is like freight train.
And so over the coming weeks, we'll be sharing more tips and tricks specific to the actions that'll help you see that, oh my God, we could actually do this, because it is very overwhelming. So
I think it gives a better understanding. You're able to break it down, like John said, into palatable chunks. You're able to process the information a little bit better.
All right, thanks everybody. Thanks so much.
Great. Thank you. We'll see you again.
Thank you.